So, what if I told you about this one tip that could dramatically improve your success with the coronavirus? Would you be interested? How many people here like the idea of keeping track of your health and wellness? And we like to call that metrics. So, people today use Fitbits or they have an Apple Watch. Typically, Daphne, when you run, you might have, I'm sure you know that people will wear things like a heart rate monitor strap to keep track of what's going on with regards to their body. So their pulse rate, their sleep patterns, all of those great things. So what if you could take control of where your health and wellness is today, tomorrow, and the days following? Would that be useful to you? Today, I actually wanted to share with you a special technology that's called heart rate variability. I've been using this technology in my practice over the last 20 years, and it's absolutely amazing. Has anybody out there heard of heart rate variability? A few. Awesome, awesome. So we're going to discuss three main points: the technology and how it works, why you need to use this technology, and then, of course, real-world applications. So now let me switch my screen here to a PowerPoint. Just a second. Where's the screen share? Good. Okay, come on, computer. All right. Can everyone see my screen? Can everyone see this slide here with these? Okay. Doesn't look like a good place to be with a great white shark behind you, right? What you don't know can hurt you. So heart rate variability is based on EKG. There we go. Heart rate variability is based on EKG. Now, you notice if people have seen an EKG and there's this big blip, blip. So what typically you see, the big blip in the tall peak there is called an R when the QRS complex. And what's measured is this interval, this spacing between each from one heartbeat to the next. But it's measured between these R, that's called an RR interval. And notice the differences here in the amount of time between 754 milliseconds, 828 milliseconds, 845. So that's the variability aspect of it. And so you might say, well, what about that? First off, true and real heart rate variability is based on an EKG signal. So first and foremost, you need an EKG to measure heart rate variability. There are other, say, instruments out there that are based on pulse rate, and it's not the same, does not give you the same information. So the RR interval is what's critical. And why is this so important? Is it's measuring something called your autonomic nervous system. So the word autonomic kind of sounds like automatic. So what if you could actually measure the thing that controls and regulates your blood pressure, your heart rate, your immune response? It's kind of important in these days of crisis, right, with the coronavirus, and everything else: heart, lungs, liver, kidneys, immune system, gastrointestinal function. All of that is controlled and regulated by this special automatic side of your nervous system. And what I found over the last 20 years is that people with dreadful illness have dreadful autonomic nervous systems. People with super wonderful health, probably Daphne, since she runs, have great autonomic nervous systems. So there's definitely a connection there. And so, that being said, your autonomic nervous system health has everything to do with your full body health. So there's just another example of RR intervals that are measured. So this special autonomic nervous system, what is it? There's two parts to it. There's the stress part that we all are in typically these days with the coronavirus crisis pandemic. It's called the sympathetic nervous system. Sympathetic is the stress side, the fight or flight side of your nervous system. Increases heart rate, increases blood pressure, lousy digestive tract function, and it's the stress mode within our body. If you drive the freeways, at least not today, but it used to be this way, you drive the freeways, you're in sympathetic stress mode. And where healing resides and wellness is in this thing that's called the parasympathetic. It's the opposite side. What we found is that people with terrible illness have dreadful parasympathetic side of the nervous system. It's the rest and digest side. It's the calming, relaxing, decreased heart rate, decreased blood pressure side of your nervous system. And it's super important with regards to your immune response. This is just another diagram, and not that you have to get into all these details, but showing the autonomic nervous system control of your immune response. Down here at the very bottom is this thing that maybe you've heard about this in the news. It's called inflammatory cytokines. And this is that storm, that cytokine storm that occurs in a person's lungs with coronavirus that creates such dramatic influence with regards to a person's ability to breathe and take in oxygen, and hence they need to be on ventilators. And so your immune response there, it's a really strong inflammatory immune response in your lungs. And guess what? What's in regulation and control of that is your autonomic nervous system. So I want to introduce you to a free application program on your cell phone. And it works both on if you have an iPhone, I'm not sure, or if you have an Android. It works on both iPhone and Android. It's a free app. I recommend that you download it today. What if you could begin taking measurements once a day, every day, to really see where this special autonomic nervous system is at? I think it's kind of a good thing. What's needed? You need a polar heart rate monitor strap, preferably because it generates the best EKG signal. It's Bluetooth, it's wireless, it connects directly to your phone effortlessly. The only thing about it is you have to, here is mine, and I have the Polar H10, if you can see that. You have to strap it to your chest wall each morning when you get up. This is what I do. Sit there, and it's a 2-minute test, and it gives you a result. So you put the strap around your chest, you lay down, or you can sit, and you start the app, and it takes about 2 minutes to do it. When it's finished, you can look at your score, and here are some of my scores. On the left side here, you have, it kind of looks like on the dashboard of your car, kind of like a speedometer, right? You've got the gauge across. Ideally, you want to be in that green section. In this case, I was too far to the right. My parasympathetic nervous system was a bit stressed. It's kind of not a good way to describe it, but when you're in hyperparasympathetic mode, and your parasympathetic is more, it's busy, it means you're in kind of a deep recovery mode. And classically, where you have the most parasympathetic nerve supply is in your digestive tract. So many times it can imply either you're recovering strongly or your digestive tract is a problem. So knowing this brings up this word that's called awareness, top of mind, mindfulness. You start to become more aware of your body and the things that influence. So what if you're on this side? This is probably where most people can be, and it's the stress or sympathetic side of the nervous system. It's sort of nice to know this because you need to take a break. You need to rest and heal. You need to not push things as hard. So this can be very useful day to day. In the last section here, not sure if you can see that, but I was a 10. The best score you can get, it's where I like to be. And it's amazing. My score today, I don't know if you can see that, my score today is an 8. Great place to be. Now, why do you need this? And this is the interesting part. We've been taught to measure our health and wellness by how we feel. Now, the problem with that is that our nervous system is only, and our body is only 11% sensory, 11%. So the other 89% of what occurs in your body, you have no clue about, except for now. And this is why I would say to measure your health more so using your autonomic nervous system. It's going to give you way more information. So therefore, it becomes more preemptive. When you can see something going on in your autonomic nervous system, you can stop the problem. You can head it off at the pass. You can take a break. You can do things so that you don't develop problems. Because when your sympathetic nervous system is going nuts and your body's way too stressed, you're run down. You're very susceptible to getting infection. Does that make sense? So, real world applications to avoid sickness, kind of a good thing. If you're in high sympathetic mode, take a break. Avoiding stress. Good luck with that one, especially today. And it's kind of a strange thing with stress, but yeah, we need to avoid stress. So if you're in sympathetic mode, you need to look at your lifestyle and what's going on, and you need to take a break. Maybe it's getting to bed earlier. Maybe it's taking a nap in the afternoon. So therefore, recovery is also a really interesting point. This really helps people with recovery. Elite athletes use this technology all the time because recovery is critical. If you don't recover from a stressful event like a really, really hard workout or just your day-to-day lifestyle, your body gets run down and you get sick or you have an injury. This technology can also help you with sleep and food. What if you can eat a food and actually you can do a test and all of a sudden you see your sympathetic nervous system's too high? Guess what? You're having an immune reaction to that food. So it can definitely help you improve your sleep, your performance in your sports, because if you're overly stressed, you want to see your heart rate variability scores continue to improve with regards to whatever physical exercise or activity you're doing. And your mood. Your mood can be influenced also by this. How about your energy level? If you're too stressed all the time, you're redlining and you're not getting enough rest, you're going to be worn down, your energy's going to drop. So consequently, it also helps you with healing. A lot of great applications for this. And this particular app makes it super simple for you to check this. So upstream versus downstream, which would be better? Now, of course, we're talking about coronavirus, but is it better to look for and deal with the causes upstream of typical problems that are going on in our lives, or deal with the symptoms or effects that are downstream? Now, with regards to the coronavirus, we'll keep it simple and say downstream would just be, hey, put on a mask and wear some gloves. Upstream would be looking for things such as, hey, how healthy is your immune system? Are you getting adequate sleep? Are you taking a walk? Are you getting any physical exercise? How is the balance within this special autonomic nervous system? So I recommend look upstream, work upstream, far better, far healthier for you. So in summary, let me get out of this screen here and stop sharing my screen. Stop share. So in summary, what you don't know can hurt you because your body is only 11% sensory information. And you've been trained to measure your health by how you feel. So I would recommend better to measure your health by how you function. And the deepest and I think most preemptive way is through heart rate variability. And guess what? It's available to you now, and it's a free app on your cell phone. Madam Toastmaster, back to you.
Thank you, Jim, for that great speech.